Because after rating your guys' quizzes, we're not very good at that. So,
I feel he's single again.
Oh no, he's
She said that. She said that she'd be taking.
So what's due for the IA today is that if you're using a survey, that you turned in a survey to me, just send me the email or the link to your Google, and that I've approved it and put it on the announcement. If your name is highlighted on there, you're good. If you're collecting your own data, you should email me the Excel sheet with your raw data that you've collected on it. That's it. Nothing else written. That's plenty. Okay?
You need the forms data?
No, I don't need the forms data. If you've shared your Google form with me, I have access to that if I want it.
Okay.
And there's not enough data in there yet to do anything with. So it's good. If you've emailed me the Google Doc or the Google form, and I've approved it, and I've added your name to the announcement at the end of my Notre Dame with a hyperlink on it, you're good. Okay? All right. Today, we're going to start with the 14.3 in-class examples. So we're going to run through this kind of together. After that, I have a handout to practice doing some spearman calculation for us to practice on, and some papers to pass back, and that's basically today. Cool?
Yeah.
All right. In-class example. Carrie and Danielle wanted to investigate if tapping on a can of soda would reduce the amount of soda expelled after the can had been shaken. For their experiment, they shook 40 cans of soda and randomly assigned each can to be tapped for 0 seconds, 4 seconds, 8 seconds, or 12 seconds. Then, after opening the can and cleaning up the mess, the students measured the amount of soda left in each can. Below are the data and a scatter plot. So, 0 seconds of tapping, this is the amount of soda left in each of the cans. 4 seconds, that's the soda left, etc. Here's our scatter plot. Who can describe the direction, form, and strength of this scatter plot? Brooklyn.
It's positive.
Great.
Linear.
Great.
And pretty strong, I said.
Moderately strong. Great. That sounds good. Any questions as to how she did that?
No.
Okay. The equation for the regression line in the previous example is given as soda remaining equals 2.3 times the tapping time plus 248.6. Identify the slope and y-intercept of the regression equation and interpret each number in the context of the experiment. Who can do this? Ethan. Great. So the slope is 2.63 and the y-intercept is 248.6. What does that mean in the context of this problem? Start with the slope. Okay. So what's the equation for slope? That's the equation for a line. How do we find slope? What's the equation to calculate a slope?
y2 minus y1 over x2.
Great. So like change in y over change in x, right? What's the unit on the y variable for this situation? Milliliters of soda, right? What's the unit for the x? Seconds, right? So the way to interpret this is for each additional 1 second spent tapping on the can of soda, you'd have 2.63 additional milliliters of soda remaining. Is everybody okay with how I worked that out, just kind of using the units and the definition of like, how do we find the slope? But that's the format. It's like, for each 1 unit change in y, you get slope units change in, I'm sorry, for each 1 unit change in x, you get slope units change in y. And you just fill in like the unit for the situation and the x and y for the situation. But that's like the verbiage. Is everybody okay with that? Again, not hard, but you gotta practice it, right? You gotta be comfortable with what the thing means so that you can do it. Not bad though, Ethan. What's the y-intercept mean then? Okay, so it'd be the amount of soda remaining for 0 seconds tapping time. Yeah, so that was good enough. What you said was good enough. But again, it's a like 0, comma, y, so 0 for at 0 units x, we get b units y, right? Again, that's the format. Everybody feel good? Okay. Using the equation above, determine what the predicted amount of soda remaining would be for the indicated tapping times if applicable. For 5 seconds, how do we do that? Who can tell us? Katie.
You just insert 5 to multiply by 2.63, and then once you get that, you add 248.6, and it's just 261.75.
Point.
75.
Point. 200. Right, 3 sig figs. And the unit there is milliliters. Okay, what about 10 seconds? Same thing, right? 30 seconds. Nope.
5 and 10.
Nope. So 30 seconds is not applicable, but why? You're closer, Sam. Sam said because they didn't test it. Elaborate on that a little bit more.
They didn't tap it for 30 seconds.
Okay, Katie, you want to?
It's like outside the domain.
Yeah, so notice that our range of values that we built our model from, we went from 0 to 12, right? What is it called when we try to predict past that range of values? Extrapolation. Is that a valid prediction to make? No. That's the reason. Everybody feels okay? And you could just say, the reason being extrapolation, why it's not applicable. Okay? Well, I tried to trick you on the test by giving you the same kind of thing. You betcha. You betcha. Okay, so be ready for that. Okay? Not much of a trick when I warn you it's coming, but I'm going to still get somebody. For the experiment performed on tapping cans, find and interpret the residuals for the indicated can. Remember the formula, the residual equals y minus y hat, and the regression equation is soda remaining equals 248.6 plus 2.63 times tapping time. How do I calculate my residual here? What's y? 260, right? That's the actual data point. What's y hat? That's the predicted y. How do we get the predicted y? We plug it into the regression equation at that x. Is everybody okay with what we did there? right? Y hat comes from the regression. It was this many days old when I learned that trick I just did. And the Y would be given to you in the problem. Do we need to do the other one? It's the same thing, right? Okay. We designed a study to investigate the relationship between the row that a student is sitting in and their grade on a particular test. We make the row our independent variable with a row value of 1 indicating the row closest to the front of the classroom. This empty row right here would be row 1. Based on our current data, we found the statistics, yada, yada, yada. Use the formulas below to find the regression, or find the equation for the linear regression, and then interpret the values for slope, y, and y-intercept in the context of the problem. So I just calculate my m. By plugging the things in to the formula. Everybody's okay there? And I'll take my b and calculate that by plugging into the formula. Everybody's okay there? And then I write my regression line. And I'm done, right? Super easy. All you gotta do is grind some numbers, right? Do you have to memorize the formulas? No! Those will be given to you. It's basically just like, do you know what you're looking at? And can you put it together? Right? You don't have to memorize nothing. Everybody's okay? Feels easy? How would I interpret the slope here? Right? Because it asks us to interpret the value for every change in 1, what's the measurement on x? What is x representing? What is x representing in the problem? Was the x variable? What unit? Read the problem again. What is the independent variable in the problem? That's x. Okay. For each increase in row number, for every row the student sits further back in class, their test score will change by m units. So sounds like decrease by, since we know it's going to be a negative number, by m% on their test. Right? Their test grade will decrease by n points or whatever. And since the test was 100 points, you would say n%. That's fine. Everybody feel okay? What is the y-intercept representing? How would I say that in words? So you would say it would be a test score of B, whatever the number B is, when a student is sitting in row 0, right? Because the y-intercept is 0, comma B. What does row 0 mean? Row 1, the closest to the front of the classroom. What's row 0? Like, is it The teacher's desk? Is it like sitting on the floor? I don't know, but like that's, you could say row 0, and that's fine, but think about physically what that means. That's an example of a case where like your, even the y-intercept is kind of like an extrapolation, right? Which is fine. The y-intercept doesn't have to make sense because it might be an extrapolation because we're building this based on what row the kid was sitting in. No one sat in row 0. Right? All right. 10 students in the mathematics course measured their height in inches and weight in pounds to determine if any correlation exists between the two measurements. They make the value of the height the independent variable, and the table below gives the recorded values. Use your calculator to find the LSRL for the data above. What does LSRL stand for? Least for L, squares for S, regression for R, line for L. Least, squares, regression, line. Not important that you know, are able to tell me what that stands for, but like that you know we're talking about the regression line is enough. Everybody good?
Yeah.
How do you do that in your calculator? Just lim rag with L1 and L2, right? Or that's L1 and that's L2. Everybody good? We don't need to walk through how to do that in the calculator again, do we? I feel like that's easy. We do that in pre-calc in Algebra 2, so you should be reasonably okay with doing a regression on the calculator. Check that the equation for the regression matches using these formulas. So how are we going to get X bar, Y bar, X standard deviation, Y standard deviation, to be able to plug them into those formulas? Just do 2 variable stats on L1 and L2, and then you'll get the numbers and you plug them into the formulas and you're done, right? Everybody's okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Use your calculator to graph the scatter plot with the linear regression on the graph as well. So to get the linear regression on there, we'll do the store reg EQ into Y1. And then you just do like stat plot with L1 and L2. And then zoom stat it. And it should spit out the scatter plot with the linear regression line on it if you need to copy it down onto your paper or whatever. You guys remember doing this? We did this in class already, right? That is the end of the 14.3 in class examples. Are we okay that I just kind of like sketched out the calculator commands that you use to do these things instead of like all the steps here? It's things we've done before, so hopefully it's okay. Okay. Good. Today, the rest of the class, I have 3 data sets here for us to practice doing a spearman calculation on. Sam, I gave 1 extra sheet for Brody when he comes back if he wants it. What you're looking at is not an assignment. I don't need you to collect this. But I think that all of you guys could stand to do the practice because when I graded the quizzes, the spearman stuff was kind of shaky for some of us. I'm going to go and write up the, on here I'll write in the answers for R for these 3 problems so you guys can check as you go. But the remainder in class, what I'd like you to do is work on this practice sheet so that you feel a little bit better about the spearman calculation than when you left. If you don't remember how to do it, pull up the 14.2 PowerPoint, take a look at the example, or pull out the 14.2 in-class example with the key on it that works out. But you need to practice it. You don't need to see me do it again. You need to spend some time kind of grinding through that. Cool?
Yeah.
Okay. If you need a calculator, I got a couple left over here on my desk. You're welcome to borrow, because you will need a calculator to do the calculation at the end, once you've done your ranking. So again, I left you a spot to write your new rank order data, and a spot to record your Y. I'm gonna write down the values for the I'll write down the values for the R's, so you guys can check as you go. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna get out of your way and let you have at it.
So if we're going for 14.3, we do something like that.
Yes, that sounds good. This, what you're working on, is not homework. I am not going to require you to turn this in. It's not for a collection, but you'd be nuts not to use this time to practice it, because there were 2 people that showed excellent command of this skill in 40-some students. So, well, I had 200%.
Who else was losing?
On the quiz. 2 100s, that was it. Out of 40-something. Yep, I have lots of stuff.
Yeah, who did it?
I don't remember what people's scores were. Are you asking me like crazy stuff? Like, I remember all the grades on the papers you checked from 2 days ago, like 9 o'clock.
There's stuff at 100.
Oh, the stack will be from last year.
Jack Kilpatrick is dramatically climbing the ranks of the worst penmanship students I've ever had. So, just letting you guys know. In case anyone was interested.
Wait, Chris, what's the last one?
It's a good point.
Yeah,
It's
a 3.5. That's sorry.
All you gotta have is an 3.5 to get it.
Yeah.
He's gonna have 3.
Thomasino.
No,
Okay, I don't think I never got.
Massimo. Nada. Maggie.
Oh my goodness, I'm blind. Oh my, shut up.
David, you weren't a good partner, bro.
I was going.
There was no partners on the test, buddy.
Is it the chapter 14 quiz?
He was finding me.
100%.
One of the kids that got 100.
I was one of those.
How'd you screw this one up?
Because
Come on, David.
Bro.
Like, it's not hard to
The sig figs got him probably.
Yeah. Well, because
Which is turning out to be the hardest part for the class. For the best student.
because it goes from.
Jackson.
Because like when you're trying to go through it fast, you don't
Maybe we should take our time.
You miss it when it changes from 3 6.
David.
Reading directions. You have other things.
Yeah.
Reading directions can take you a long time.
Maggie. Matt.
I don't think this one.
Might hang on to it.
You can practice.
Yeah, but kind of wish I had. I kind of wish you were here.
I understand.
Oh my
I
god.
got an 88.
Oh, it's chat.
It's whatever it
This
is.
is the quiz.
What did it do?
I didn't do that.
I'll take a 9.
Mikey.
No.
Ethan.
I low-key don't know.
I'll teach you.
I didn't do
Bosco got 1% more than me.
There were so many, bro, I would've done so bad, because look.
I'm so mad, Mom.
All
You got one
hard,
kid.
I got
It's good to be back on top, you know.
Wait, what did I get on here? I always forget about
Tomasino, Matt,
you.
Go to the. And you rank them from, so if the lowest is the rate, the rate would be 1. You're saying it's the lowest. No.
I got a check mark on everything.
I'm the one who got 100. I'm the one that got that right too. Who got check marks, you ate, and I went right.
It comes out with the same answer because you can do what you do.
I'm the one
settle this debate.
Wait,
You know, rank them either as lowest or lowest to highest, as long as you rank the X and Y the same way.
I'm gonna switch them.
I'm looking for a former cross-country coach.
That's me, once upon a time.
That was you once upon a
Yeah,
time.
but wait,
What?
yeah, it's not. Wait, so rank them, you didn't know how to
You need to get
like for 8.
Divided by the amount of.
Yeah, exactly. So each rank has to have 3
And then like the second.
And all you do is take, add up the ratings, divide by how many you got, and then that's how they rank.
And then the next one is 7.
I locked in some.
And then 2. Sixth place would be 70.
Unlike you, I'm one of 2 people here.
This takes places 8 and 7.
You're one of 2 people.
100 on the whole test.
Yeah.
You're one of about 50 people.
Yeah.
Oh,
and then you go on to 26.
Everyone has 9. And if it's like 9, 5.
I'm bleeding now. Before I get back in.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
That sounds like you.
Do I bring it to Essex?
I have myself enough one because you're. I inflicted pain on myself. You know what that means?
I have no more
I
questions.
No, Don't follow the Buddha.
Oh, without like
You know what they say?
I know what you would.
If it ain't clear,
So that's what
gotta speak.
You got a dark space.
That's what I'm doing, right?
Well, like you want to get there, right?
Yeah.
But like,
I might.
wait, well, what were you?
Oh, yeah, that's good. Well, I might go to church.
Oh, yeah, not like.
Last one, you get 0.72.
I like.
Yes.
Oh, 5.
Sure.
So mine was, like, I was gonna get 100 quarterbacks.
Yes.
And I remember in ChatGPT, they only gave me like 75.
Okay.
Well, I could get more, but I ran out of ChatGPT for the day.
Okay.
So I like wouldn't be able to get all 100
Yeah.
tonight. But I still like 75.
If you're still like working hours.
Like, even though I don't like.
Oh, it's so good.
That work for you?
Yeah.
I think that's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is it $1 smash or you already said what I was gonna say, so you go with our subject. You gave me time to figure something.
I already like you teach me unrealistic.
Okay.
My mental
Right.
Below it.
Fine.
Did I show you?
Proposal back to you. That's why probably my
I don't know if there's.
What's that actually gonna get right? Maybe that happened.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that, I mean, that sounds perfect. You give me the whole thing to do.
The first one, 0.72121.
Yeah, I mean,
Five decimal
I
places.
wrote the answers on the board, so you can check them as you finish.
There we go.
Oh.
Yeah, so you can
No,
like,
it's basic.
as you go, you're like, yes.
I'm
I'm not gonna give it.
She has that.
Let's go.
love the scarf too.
I got it right.
I need.
Oh god, that's me on one glass of water.
And like a hat.
I mean, like to get.
You still get the same answer if you rank them from least to greatest?
Yes.
Yeah.
As long as you rank your X's and Y's the same way.
Remember?
Yes.
X's and Y's can go both ways.
That's correct.
Change it.
You hear that?
Changing the X, Y will not change the correlation first. As do changing the. Hey, what's that? I didn't hear you.
Us was just like actual like talk about
Yeah.
So I think that was like your ball out of
No, I get it. Of course you get it. You're the king of getting it, especially when it comes to you're getting it.
No, I like Anthony. Don't hit on Anthony. You can say, Carter Schneid. You can say,
Yeah.
as long as it's
Yeah, it's just I swear to God, I love. Also, I never like sit down.
Oh, so he didn't have to.
Why was he?
Yeah, you do.
The coach had more control than hers.
Yeah.
You show me what you
Is it
did.
down?
Oh.
Just go.
Oh, no, the opposite way. I know you know.
I know you know.
I know you know.
I know you know.
Look, how are you screwed for a physics test?
I want like.
Yeah.
She did.
She got
Well,
one.
what
Not
if
like
she
that.
got
Yeah.
I have 4th hour 8 minutes and Jen finished with 4 hours.
I'm not taking that test right now.
I like.
For next time.
You're taking it.
I have to organize it in my room, but I
You like that?
As much as I want to.
So like my mom got me
You can't do
that.
anything about
Because I like it to be organized. Like I'm going
You might want to study.
like also I'm gonna if I go to
Ethan, you got like 30. You're gonna want to get on it.
I didn't pay attention. All I got
It's not like.
Never.
This one,
I was clicking his lap. And she like never.
yeah, so I do like I try out.
I can feel it. No, actually, what's the time of walking? I'll actually walk in. I'm actually.
What, Chris?
all the ranks are basically the same.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, that shade on a scat.
Very strongly. She had 28, I had 27. I'm killing myself.
Hey, whoa. Hey.
Oh, not that.
You need to cut. You need to cut
Hey, man,
that.
it's just pretty.
You need to prove that. You need to prove that branch off.
He's pretty.
You gotta prove that.
I've never seen Boston really get a better grade to be on this test.
You gotta prove.
I'm done with it. I'm done with it. You got 1% more than me. I'm done.
Remember one of the other ones?
No, you've never got a better grade than me.
Yeah, chapter 7. What you gonna test out?
I like it.
So did you get?
I got like a 90. One question. One of the previous ones. Like
Quiz or test?
Whenever I study,